It was a very quiet morning on Lac Courte Oreille in Sawyer County, Wisconsin. As I arose from my beauty rest in the summer of my sophomore year, I was delighted to hear the sounds of two distinct birds, the boreal chickadee and the black-billed magpie. It was a great day to be on the lake, filled with all this wildlife and peace. I proceeded to delightfully roll out of my bed so I could go to the kitchen to make a scrumptious 3-egg omelet with pepper jack shredded cheese and 2 pieces of Newski's hickory smoked bacon. I was preparing for a fishing adventure that would test my limits and required great toil. Fishing has been a pastime of mine since I was a young lad. I was taught by my grandfather the basics of fishing. He was known as the all-father of fishing by his peers and also for his exceptional knot-tying skills. I could not have done this alone and was accompanied by the likenesses of Charlie Killian and Nick Bettenberg. We were all extremely skilled anglers, but the vastness of this lake combined with the gargantuan fish that it filled was a combination that frightened all. I had been preparing for this one day with my fellow sailors my entire life. I had my eyes set on a North American walleye known as Ragnar the Ravenous. He was known for snapping lines and leaving fishermen furious. Training was necessary, but before we trained, we planned to set out at dawn due to legend that Ragnar feeds in the morning with his beautiful wife. Our training consisted of 3 main things. Number 1, feast like you've never feasted before. This will be necessary on this journey we are about to endure. Number 2, prepare the rods and bait. Number 3, we had to learn our strengths and weaknesses so that we could apply them to our positions on the boat. We had to prepare the day before, for we did not know if the fish would take 1, 2, or 3 of our rods. Fishing has taught me a lot about my strengths and weaknesses. Now, before I get into the action, I would like to tell you all about how much fishing has taught me. It has taught me as a captain who would occupy the different positions on my boat. The first and most important is the first mate. The first mate takes command of the boat from the captain when required and also shares the captain's responsibilities as required. My first mate would be my wonderful mother because of everything that she has helped me with throughout my 5 years at STA, and I wouldn't be able to captain this boat of life without her. Thanks, Mom. Second, the engineer. This is the person who fixes all of the technical difficulties from motors to fishing rods to the fish finder. My engineer would be my doctors, specifically Dr. Allie Wagner, Dr. Dan Peterson, and Dr. Brad Nelson. They have fixed my body in many different places, and I know that I could count on them if anything ever went wrong. I attribute most of my success on and off the football field to these three people and cannot thank them enough. Third, the deckhands. The deckhands maintain the cleanliness of the boat and help with anything that they can do, from netting the fish to helping you bring the fish in to even teaching you how to do anything that has to do with fishing. They are a jack of all trades, to say the least. My deckhands would be my friends. They hold me accountable and always know when to have fun. The deckhands help me create some great memories, from going to an all-you-can-eat buffet with Jackson Smith or playing hours of NHL in Charlie Killian's basement until I can get the green light to sleep over. These are all memories that I will cherish for a lifetime. Thanks, boys. The fourth, second mate. The second mate is the third in command and a watchkeeping officer, customarily the ship's navigator. My second mates would be Charlie Killian and Seamus Regan. These 2 guys I know that I can go to and talk about personal issues with, but I also know we can have a whole lot of fun together. By fun, I mean growing up technically as a Regan and making hours of film on their computer. Lord knows what we were talking about, but as you may have seen in the past YouTube video titled #Yup on my channel, that is what most of our videos consisted of. Words/phrases that nobody could understand but us. As I went into high school, I grew slightly further from Seamus because he went to Hill Murray. I got closer to Charlie Killian, who I have known for a while now. We had our fun ways in fishing and trying to catch turtles for hours on a paddleboard, but it mostly consisted of playing a game mode known as Ashley Works in NHL, where the players are put on steroids and can travel at the speed of light and can decapitate each other like the flick of a finger. Most all of my hardest times that I've ever laughed were in your basement, and I will never forget when we played NHL without even looking at our phones and realized that we had been playing for 7 hours, from 9:30 to 4:30 a.m. Thanks to both of you boys, I cannot wait to see what our futures hold. With this crew in place, I will continue about the dreaded Ragnar the Ravenous. We set out at dawn with my crew at the ready. We arrived at the spot and tossed our line in. I felt one bite, then another, and then another, and then wham, it was hit, and I was on. My adrenaline was pumping more than it had ever in my entire life. This was the fish I had been searching for. The 16 years of searching had paid off, and I was ready to catch this beast. I reeled it right, left, then right again, and the next thing I knew it was right next to the boat, and so I whipped my rod up, and snap, I lost it. I was infuriated at first, but then realized what this was all about. This wasn't about the catch. It was about the journey to get there and the people that help you and also the memories that you make. So the moral of the story would be to not take everything so seriously and take time to look around and thank the ones who helped you get to where you are. Thank you, God bless, and fly Falcons fly.